Hey there, do you dream of escaping into a book? Maybe your escape includes a cozy cabin in the mountains or a magical town along the coast. Either way, you're in the right place. Welcome to Literary Escapes with me, Becky. This year on the podcast, we're exploring the United States. So every week, I'm going to bring you a new book set in a different state. So let's see where we're going today. Welcome back to the Literary Escapes podcast. We are continuing our trek across the United States with the Read Across the U.S. Book Club. Today, our stop is in Utah, and our tour guide is author Brittney Mulliner. Welcome, Brittney.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for having me.
I am excited to have you here today. My experience with Utah is I used to live in Colorado, and I think I went to Utah once for a business meeting. And so I saw the airport, I saw the hotel, and I saw the airport. And I could see the mountains, but I didn't get to be in the mountains. So so I'm guessing that your experience with Utah is a whole lot different than mine. At least I hope so.
It's a little bit different, yeah.
So tell me about Utah for those who have not really experienced Utah.
Utah is beautiful. It is absolutely gorgeous. I think that's one undisputed fact about it.
I agree. Yeah.
When I think about how to describe Utah to other people that have never been there, have never seen it, I just think about the national parks.
Okay.
One of my favorite places, my husband owns a Jeep, so we like to go off-roading and stuff. And one of my favorite places is Moab.
Okay.
Because it looks otherworldly, honestly. Some of the trails and stuff around Moab, Arches National Park is one of my favorite places in the whole world.
Okay.
It is.
I don't know that I
so
knew that
beautiful.
was in Utah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I was
in the
thinking like
southeast
Nevada.
corner.
So, okay.
Yeah. So it's actually really close to Colorado. It's
Okay.
just like an hour or two from Grand Junction.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
How
that's
cool.
probably one of my favorite places that we would go. I'm gluten intolerant, and it has one of my favorite gluten-free pizzas, which is super random.
That is an important thing when you don't eat gluten.
So that's one of my favorite places. And my parents, I grew up in California, but my parents relocated to St. George, which is in southwest, the very southwest corner. Just like an hour from Vegas.
Oh, okay.
That's like Red Rock country.
Yeah, yeah.
So we would take our Jeep, and they have a Can-Am, and there's dunes out there. There's areas to rock climb. There's mountains. There's Bryce Canyon, and Zion National Park is right there. So there's a lot to do when we go down to that area as well.
I didn't know that I didn't put together that there's so many national parks in Utah. That's really interesting.
They have the most, actually.
I thought it was California. That is so cool.
It's really cool. Yeah, so Zion's is beautiful. We would go down there. We go down there as much as possible when we see my parents.
Yeah.
And then where I live is just south of Salt Lake.
Okay.
And so we're most of Utah, we're northern Utah. There's mountains on each side.
Okay.
And then everyone kind of lives in the valley between.
Okay. That's got to be a beautiful view. Holy moly.
Yeah, it's something that I never really think about until I saw someone posted, I think it was Instagram or TikTok, when they're just walking out of a Walmart and this is my view. And it's oh, I know those mountains. I guess I don't think about it. I just take it for granted.
It would be easy to do that when it's your everyday view. Yeah. That's interesting. So does it snow a lot in Utah? Because when I think of the Rocky Mountains, I think of snow. So is it a big snow area, and is it a big ski area?
In the northern portion, definitely. I always prefer when it snows in the mountains and it doesn't get into the valley. Um, I like looking at it. I don't like driving in it.
I get
So
you. Yeah.
as long as it can be up there, but it does snow quite a bit. I think one of the like license plates says like greatest snow on earth.
Oh, wow.
Um, I'm pretty close to Sundance ski resort,
Yeah.
and that's where I went when I was attempting to learn to snowboard.
Oh my gosh. I had such a horrible experience with attempting to learn to snowboard.
Yeah.
My whole body
And
hurt
like by the
for
time you get
days.
good at the end of one season, winter ends and you start all over.
Exactly. I
So
I
I
was
I
not
never picked it up.
coordinated in that way, apparently. So
No. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of snow in the winter.
okay.
And it is technically a desert, so it's
That's so
hot and
interesting.
dry
Okay.
in the summer.
And you were
So
saying
you can
that
look up at
it's
the aspens and the pines and everything. You are in the desert.
that's a yeah, that's so interesting. You were saying how it's low humidity there. And
Yeah,
that's another thing that being a Florida girl, I don't think of. I assume everybody has humidity because it's just part of
right.
life. But that's always so interesting to hear how
Yeah, it's
different
very,
things
very
can be.
dry.
It
When
sounds like
people first
even
get here, they're like, I need chapstick and I need lotion.
exactly lotion, chapstick, that would be me.
Uh-huh.
It sounds like there's a lot of different topographies, I guess, maybe within the
Yeah.
state, which I think is so cool. Um, and there's the lake, the Great Salt Lake, right?
Hmm.
And so, how does that play into the? Is that in the valley?
Um, that would be like that's right next to Salt Lake City. So it's like 40 minutes north of me.
Okay,
Um,
okay,
and I have been to it. I have not been in it. Um, I've heard that's
okay,
like not like the cleanest. Um,
okay, okay.
but
Gotcha.
I was a geography major, so I studied a lot of like the physical geography and like weather and stuff like that. So I do know that it causes a lot of lake effect snow
Ah,
for Salt Lake
yeah,
City.
yeah, yeah. I
But
wouldn't be sorry to miss that.
right.
Interesting.
But next to Salt Lake, there are the salt flats. And I know that they do a lot of like land speed tests for like vehicles and cars,
Oh,
like super fast cars. And it's also gorgeous to like go out and take pictures. A lot of people will go do like bridals and family
oh,
pictures out there.
interesting. Okay.
It looks like you're on like the moon or something. It's
Wow.
crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. I love that. I love that
Yeah,
there's so many
definitely.
different areas
Yeah.
to Utah that to explore and all
Hmm.
and you have to be like an outdoor lover because
Oh,
that is so
definitely.
much of what Utah is. So
Yeah.
I love that.
Rock climbing, um, hiking,
Yeah.
skiing,
Nice.
even like ice climbing is
Yeah.
a big thing.
So I was going to jump right into the books, but before I do that, because your books, the series that we're going to talk about for the book club are set in Utah and it's a
Hmm.
hockey team. But before we do that, I want to hear about your journey to become an author. How did that happen?
It actually started my senior year of college.
Okay.
Um, I was working full time and going to school full time and thought, why not add something else
Want
to
to
my
add a little
plate?
more
But
stress to the life. Yeah.
right, yeah, sounds great.
Oh my.
Um, I actually like had a dream and I woke up and it was like super vivid and I remembered all of it, which is kind of rare for me. So I wrote it down and then just like over the next couple like days and weeks, it just like morphed into a book idea, which was my very first book. And then
That's
it turned
exactly what
into a
happened to
series.
me. I love that.
Yeah.
Like
Um,
that's so cool. Had you been wanting to write? Had that been on your horizon?
no, I always wanted to do like the editing side of things. So I
Oh,
wanted to kind of be in publishing, but on the flip side.
Okay. Because you went to school
I
for the geography or geology.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I started with editing and I didn't love the English program. And then I
Okay.
kept getting the recommendation of just study what you love. So I like emphasized on
Same.
like, yeah. So I really liked
Uh-huh.
the like studying demographics and understanding like why people do the things they do, live where they live, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So I was basically studying like cultures and people.
Which is
Um,
really interesting. Yeah.
yeah, which was super interesting and had zero career paths after. So thanks for that
That's
advice,
awesome.
everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think
Um,
better advice would be to pick something that you can tolerate that will lead to a job.
yeah,
That's
the
what
rest
I've
will
been
work out.
telling my
And
son. I don't care
yeah,
what you do, just pick something that'll lead to a job.
right. Yeah, mine did not. It was definitely, it was, and it was self-indulgent, if anything.
Yeah, yeah, I totally get that. That's so funny.
Yeah, but it worked out because I do use my like degree in like research and stuff like that.
Right.
But
So, which book was your first one?
um it is I changed the name. It was called Begin Again. Sorry.
That's okay.
Um,
But
Ask
you've
No
got a lot of books, so
Questions.
I understand why you might not remember right off. So,
Right. Yeah, it's called Ask No Questions.
and which series is that, the No Regrets series?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Hmm.
Nice. And so did it come to you as a trilogy, or was it just a book that you decided to make into a trilogy? How did that work for you?
Yeah, it was more just one idea.
Yeah.
And then the more I thought with it, and the more I like thought about it, it expanded. So it's kind of a duology with the third book being a secondary character as the main
Okay.
character.
Okay.
And I definitely wanted to tell her story.
Nice.
Um,
Nice.
so
So when you
that's
went
how it
into
happened.
it, did you go into writing thinking, I want this to be my career, or, oh, this book just popped into my head. It's the book of my heart and I just want to write it?
Yeah, at first it was just I need to write this book.
Okay.
I need to get it out of me.
Yeah.
And then going to writing conferences, meeting authors and stuff, I was oh,
Wait a minute.
I think I can do this.
That's so awesome.
I
I
think I
love that.
need to do this.
Yeah. And so you have a lot of books out, and it looks like you've kind of touched in a few different genres, the contemporary,
Mhm.
historical, and I think I read that you did a little YA. Um,
Yeah.
and
I
then
have
go ahead.
I have YA. They're all in the romance genre. YA, what probably looked historical was a royal romance.
Yeah, yeah. Is
Yeah,
it
so it's
historical?
contemporary.
Is it? Okay, because just the dresses, I guess, threw me. I assumed they were historical. So, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Okay. I'm gonna have to go back and look at those again because I love, especially contemporary royals. I think those are so much fun. Um,
Yeah. I had a lot of fun with that one.
I would imagine, yeah. And then when did the hockey series start? The
In
Utah Fury.
2018.
2018. You have 14 books in that series.
I
Holy
do.
moly.
I
And
do.
it's only, okay, 2018. So that's 6 years. So you've been cranking out some books in that one.
Yeah. I think the last one came out in like 2021.
You did
Um,
14 books in 3 years. Oh my gosh. That's a lot of writing.
yeah.
And so is that series complete then?
I thought so.
Don't you love that?
Yeah. But um I think the next one it's in the outlining stage.
Oh, that's so funny. So there's been some maybe interesting things going on in the hockey world because Utah is getting a hockey team, right?
Yeah.
And one of the names they had been considering was Utah Fury. Is that right?
Yeah.
So tell me how that is and or was for you. And
Um,
What does that
it-
even mean? I mean,
it's very random. Um,
yeah,
as far as their last update, it is still a contender.
that's amazing.
They're doing a lot of like fan voting for residents and stuff.
I wonder if that's why it came
I don't
up.
right. I
Yeah.
don't think they'll have a decision made before this season. At least that was one of their like first announcements, was that they were going to wait this season and call it just like the Utah Hockey Club or something like that.
Okay. Okay.
Um, but yeah, I actually had a reader reach out to me and she was like, "Have you seen that Fury is like one of the top contenders?" And I was like,
And did that
mhm.
affect like your readership?
um,
Maybe.
possibly.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously it's hard
Um,
to draw a direct line to it, but that is such a
yeah,
fun random thing.
right. I did an interview with one of the stations here about it because they were just like,
So
this is
crazy.
too, yeah, this is too weird."
Well, and especially
Um,
since you've been writing them since 2018. So it's not like you're piggybacking on them.
right,
They're piggybacking on you.
right. Uh, yeah, it's super bizarre. So we'll see. I know that they're like top two that, or the team hasn't come out and said it, but someone is reporting that like Yeti
Okay.
is still like the top contender, which I don't
Okay.
know. The Utah Yetis, it's not my
Yeah.
favorite.
So I wonder that's so crazy. I love that it's a potential that
Uh-huh.
super, super cool. And like you said, so random. And who knew?
Right?
I mean, because when you started it, they obviously didn't have a hockey team there.
No, wasn't
So
even
yeah.
a
So
thought.
because I have a friend who writes hockey and she was looking for places that didn't have hockey teams for that, so that she could write
Right,
something there that was fictional and all of that. So yeah.
right. Yeah.
Pretty
Um,
crazy.
yeah, I picked it because looking at the demographics and what the NHL does to pick team locations, I was like, we don't have
What they're looking for.
what they're looking for. We don't have like the population to support it.
Yeah.
And 6 years
And
later,
and
they
yet
were
here
like,
they are. Yeah.
"Amen."
That's so funny. I love it. Huh. So tell me how the puck drop, how that story came to you, and tell us a little bit about what it's about.
So my husband and I started watching hockey like religiously in probably 2015.
Okay.
Uh,
And who was your team that you really enjoyed?
the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, when we started watching, living in Utah, like the closest one is the Colorado Avalanche.
Avalanche, yeah. I
Yeah,
lived in
and
Colorado when they came to Colorado. So yeah, that was a fun.
yeah, so they're good, but we didn't have any ties
Mhm.
to Colorado.
Sure.
And my husband's best friend, his whole family's from Pittsburgh. So when he found out that he's a huge hockey fan. So when he found out that we were watching hockey, he's like,
Yeah.
root for the Penguins, and then we can like have hockey nights and stuff.
Oh, fun.
So we did, and then the next season they won the Stanley Cup, and then they did it again. And I was like, oh,
Nice.
this hockey
This
thing
is
is fun.
fun. I like this.
Right?
That is fun.
Um,
And so a couple years later, you decided to write a hockey team, or at least
right.
a
I think it was during their second Stanley Cup season that I started writing hockey. It was just such a big part of our lives. We spent so
yeah,
much time
it makes
watching,
sense.
and the Salt Lake has a like a farm team
Right.
that
Okay.
filters up into the NHL.
Okay.
So we go to Grizzly games a lot,
Nice.
support them.
That's fun.
Um, and those games are relatively affordable. So
Yeah.
I could kind of jump around the arena and get different
Different
perspectives.
perspectives. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
really
talk to
cool.
the staff there and kind of
More
get to know.
accessible, I'm guessing. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Very cool. And so when you went into this series, did you know it was going to be A series?
No, not 14 at least. I
Yeah.
was thinking maybe 3, 4.
Yeah. Yeah. Because 14,
Um,
that's a heavy commitment. And prior, your series are 3. So yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. One would think that you would just stay around there.
That's so funny.
But I fell in love with the team that I created. Each book in the series is a different team member and
Okay.
their love story.
Nice.
Um, so between the team and then what I found that fans really liked was like the women's group,
Oh,
like
fun. The wags.
the
Do they
wags
call it
before
that in
wags was a term.
do
So
they
like
call it that in hockey? I don't even know.
they do,
Do they?
but it's
Okay.
like it's a recent thing, I think, thanks to TikTok.
Right. Yeah. The
So yeah,
wives and
the wives and
girlfriends for those
girlfriends
who
of the
don't know.
team
Yeah.
was a big part of the series and their support of each other.
Oh, that's fun. Okay. I can
So
see why that would resonate. Yeah.
yeah.
That's
So we
really
have like
fun.
the women and being involved with each book and each person's love story, and then the team and the changes that happens within the team.
Okay. Okay. That's fun. That's fun. And obvious, I'm assuming that since it did keep going, that there's been a lot of reader support for that
Yeah,
series.
people,
Yeah.
my readers are very ravenous
Yeah. And
about this series.
I know now sports romance is really hot. So you kind of came
Right. When I
into
started writing it, there was no other clean hockey romance.
that's yeah. Yeah.
Um, there was a little bit of football, I think a little bit of baseball back
Okay.
then. But when I was looking into hockey, I was like, is there even going to be a market for
Ones
clean
that don't
hockey?
show the man chest with the stick over the
Right,
shoulder.
with like the stick behind him.
Yeah, yeah.
And it turns out that there was. So
I love that.
I'm really happy about that. I'm really grateful that
Yeah,
readers found me.
that's so fun. And I mean, obviously, if you enjoy that world still or that genre still, you could, if one of your players got traded, you could go to that team and, and
Right.
start
And
working on that team.
I set up a team for Seattle, and now
Okay.
they have a team. So I'm like, do I go there? Do I just let it sit?
Exactly. That's so funny. I love how I don't know, NHL needs to kind of be keeping an eye on you, I think.
Right? I'm like, do I need to become a consultant for the NHL? I would love that.
I think so.
Right?
That would be really fun. So tell me about Puck Drop and what the story's about.
So I'm trying to think of like the tropes. It's a best friend's brother, or best friend's sister. The main girl, our love interest, is the sister of one of the guys on the team
Okay.
who also works for the team
Okay.
in the main office.
So you got the
She's like,
workplace romance and you got the brother's best friend romance. Ooh, good
yeah.
stuff.
So our male main character is traded to the team
Okay.
and is warned away from her by
By
all
the
the
brother.
teammates.
Oh, by all the okay. So she's like
Yeah.
all their little sisters kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
And since she works for the team on like their marketing department, they're like, don't make her angry. She can make your life very difficult.
I
So
love it.
he avoids her, but at the same time, there's that attraction.
Yeah, yeah.
They try to fight it.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
And then everybody's
Yeah. They try to keep
aghast.
it a secret. And of
Yeah,
course, that doesn't go over very well.
yeah, exactly. Going behind my
So,
back.
mhm.
That
So they're
is so
keeping it
fun.
from the team, from her brother, from the
Yeah,
coaches, her managers.
that's so fun. Good stuff. Good stuff. And so of all the guys on the team, which is the favorite that you've written, or do you have one? Or is
I
that
have a
fair to
really-
ask?
I know. Of the 14.
Exactly.
I have
Of all your
I have a
14
soft-
kids, which one's your favorite?
Right. I have a like Love on the Rocks book about the goalie and his wife.
Okay.
And he gets injured and kind of spirals and is like dealing with the injury plus mental health as they're having their first baby.
Oh,
And she's dealing with mental health. So that one was a really personal book for me to kind of represent some of the women in my life and their stories.
yeah.
And my own journey with mental health. So that one is probably the closest to my heart.
I can see why. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Wow. That's fun. Is there a fan favorite character?
I think the first female, so the female from Puck Drop, she is kind of the ringleader of the wives and girlfriends.
Okay.
And is like overly involved and overly opinionated in everyone else's lives. And I think she's probably the fan favorite
Awesome.
with the readers. Of
That's
the
fun.
men, I don't know. I haven't gotten like a ton of feedback of like this is our guy. I feel
Okay.
like they've liked most of them.
That's awesome. Yeah, I like that. That's a lot of fun. So you are in the book club. We're reading Puck Drop, and word of warning, like we've talked about, there are 14 books, so you're going to get sucked in. And so go ahead and calendar it out because you're
Right.
going to need the time. So
Couple weeks.
yeah, word of warning to the readers. These are all in KU, right?
Yes.
And so binge away.
Yeah, just fly through them.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing when the series is finished ish. Yeah, and there's a whole bunch of books that you can just crank through. I that's like the favorite thing for so many readers is they're easily accessible. There's a whole bunch of them.
A whole bunch.
And a great group of people to like delve into their lives. So go ahead and jump on in there, readers, and you got a whole team that's going to welcome you in. So thank you for being here today. This has been a lot of fun talking to you.
Yes, thank you so much.
My pleasure. And we will see you in the book club this week. Have a good one.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thanks for joining me today. If you'd like to be part of the Read Across the U.S. Book Club, I'd love to have you join us. There is a link in the show notes. So just head down there and click and we will welcome you in. So see you in the book club, I hope. Have a great day and we'll see you next week with a new episode.